Thank you for hopping on this call, Larry. Larry is recognized as a top 10 investor on 2023 Midas Seed list. And he's also featured on TechCrunch list for First Check VCs in 2020 and Forbes Most Notable Chinese American Businessmen in 2021. Thanks for hopping on the call, Larry.
Thank you, David.
So, yeah. The first question we have is, given Amino Capital's really successful track record, I know you guys do seed stage investments, including AI. What key factors do you consider when evaluating the potential of AI startups?
Great get on the call with you, David. Very good question. We have been around for 12 years, and fortunately, most of the partners we have has a data background, basically data storage, data security, and data processing. In terms of data processing, like my partner, Dr. Huikan Zhu, who was an inventor of Google photo search and Asian language search. So he has been working on large language model for many years. Of course, currently the large language model is very different. It has been evolved a lot. So we all have a data background. So that gave us a very different perspective on all the technologies that has been going on. So from our perspective, the biggest trend in the last 40 years, including the next 5 or 10 years, even 15 years, is digitization. So from the invention of digital computer and to the internet, mobile internet, AR, VR, and AI, and now generative AI. So all those things going on, from our perspective, it is just different milestones in terms of the progression of digitization of all the information as well as all the activities. So when we invest, we focus on this trend. Of course, there are many areas that worth investing, right? So like some hardware, IoT, medical, they're all good areas. But we are not expert on those things. We are expert in data. And we also believe the digitization is the biggest trend, right? So that's why we are very focused on that. And in the last 40 years, right, if you see the physical world, like if you take the commercial airplane, right, the speed hasn't changed, right? So the physical things, it's very difficult to change. There's a lot of limitation, especially in terms of the cloud space, right? You can make the airplane fly a lot faster, even to 10 times of the speed of the sun, but the cost is immense. So much. So, but digitization is a trend that we pretty much digitize almost everything at an accelerated rate, and in terms of image, photo, in terms of everyday activities, right? So we focus on this trend, and of course, when we evaluate a startup, we want to see if a startup has the ability, has the vision to ride on this trend, digitization. So that's how we have been relatively successful. Of course, there are other factors like the team, the founders, the dynamic between them, and the technology background, etc. But in terms of AI investment, I think that's the essential things we have been focused on, is digitization.
Okay, interesting. So along those same lines, as you may know, there's sort of been a shift towards more autonomous applications when it comes to business. How do you think the evolution of AI will enhance like sort of operations within businesses and startups?
I think first of all, the digitization or the computerization of all the business process already improved the efficiency a lot, right? So any kind of fixed logic can be done, especially repetitive work with even very complex logic can be done by computer, right? So like you have all kind of softwares that's done that already. So if you look at everybody knows like the TurboTax, right? It's literally repetitive work, but it's complicated, but the logic is rigid, is the same. And those kind of work has been done. Same thing with the business. A lot of business software, SaaS, and they improve the efficiency a lot. So that's the trend in the last so many years. But in terms of the thing you talk about autonomous application or application driven by AI, that's a new thing. So that's the next big thing. So right now, actually, many services, including GitHub, right? Microsoft's GitHub, also the one we invested and later just become a unicorn called Replit. So they literally generate computer code for you. So you can tell the service what kind of application you need. They literally generate the computer program for you. So writing a program with a fixed logic is no longer a barrier. More and more people could do that. And those kind of work that can be automated, like this kind of program is pretty much there. So there's no barrier for that. And many organizations, many individuals even start doing this thing. So what's really different in the next few years in terms of autonomous application is they are not just a logic, a system with a logic, but they have an intelligence, it's called AI. But where the intelligence come from, they literally come from the data in the system. So later on, when you sell, if you have a new program or if you have a new service you want to sell to people, it's just a bunch of program with a logic. It's no longer worth any money. But if you have a program with data in it, of course, with data, with a fresh data, with historical data, then you actually provide intelligence, right? So those the systems, AI, those the system that is the next trend, and people is going to be willing to pay for it. Yeah. For example, but right now there are some systems there already, right? If you use Salesforce, the longer you use it, the more sticky to it, right? Because you have so much information into it, right? Same thing with the TurboTax, right? If you filed the tax last year, you have data. This year you can import data, but that's just a small part of it, right? So I'll give you an example. We in Venturecapital internally, we develop a system where we keep track all the interesting companies, including those we invested and also those that we have not invested. We keep track of them. And initially it's done by hand, but more and more we literally grab the information from internet by Google search, by following the Twitter handle, many other ways. So also we keep following the company's progress. If the founders split, or if they are hiring a better important person in the team, or they got invested by a well-known VC, or even they got a merger or acquisition intention. So then we keep track the progress of each companies.
Right.
Yeah. So those information now become a AI, the system, right? So we follow them for so many years. Now we have information like what kind of a team are most likely be successful. What kind of team that's most likely to split and fail? What kind of people are likely to be a successful CEO? What kind of people are more likely to be a good CTO? So those information is there. So it's become an AI for us. And later on, if we suppose to sell the system, other investors can use the system as well. They're not buying the software only. They mostly buy the information, right? They can say, I'm interested in one particular company. They put in the website of the company, and then all the information pop up about this company. Their founders' information, their founding history, the founders' relationship, all the founding history, all the news in the last few years. So when people later on, when they use the system, they not only buy a logic, buy a software, they are buying the information,
right?
The AI. So they can even have a score, right? This company of, what's the likely to be successful, right? What's the score for this company? So by simply typing the company's name. So that is the company, this is the so-called AI software I envision for the VC industry later on. Same thing will happen with many, many other domains where people will provide a service with AI, with information in it already.
Interesting. Okay, gotcha. So from your perspective, what are some challenges that startups that you've invested in or that you've just seen in general, what are some challenges they have with integrating AI into their business model?
There are many challenges. One is how to protect their own information from the large language model, right? Literally, if you, some of the companies, like including Apple, right, they ban certain employees to use the large language model, ChatGPT, right, because the way they ask a question literally expose their own information, right? So for same thing with a young company, if they utilize the large language model, somehow they have to be able to protect their own information, right? For example, I wrote a book, right? So if a lot of startups say, no, Larry, can you give me your book? Then I can build a ChatGPT for you. And then people don't have to read the book. They can just ask questions. Then my ChatGPT will answer it for you. The thing is, once I give the book to them, if they gave it to the large language model, literally the language model read my book already. So they really don't need me anymore. So for young company, for startups who work on AI, I think that's the number one priority, is to protect your information. Secondly, it is the service and the innovation, because for young startups, you really have to be able to provide a service to a point where the users, the customers in your community like to use the service on your platform and keep doing all the commercial activities on your platform where you can generate data. And then with those data, you can provide a better service. That's the AI. So if you accumulate data and then you utilize those data to provide even better, more personalized, individualized services, then your system become much more powerful. You're literally providing AI in your business. So that's the thing for startups, is to how to build a good service to a point where you can constantly accumulating new data about your service, about your customers, about your community.
Okay. So you talked about how there are some concerns with privacy and regulations. How should startups address the problem of having trust in their clients, or their clients trusting them with their using AI? Like, how can they build that trust? Because I know there are a lot of issues with data and privacy around that.
Yeah. So those trust is very valuable. So you really have to, for each companies, you really have to build your reputation over time. But the young company do have advantages, because they are willing to take the risk. They are not afraid to make mistakes. They could be more creative or innovative because they have nothing to lose, right? What's happened in the last few days, you know, there's a story about Google Gemini service. It's generating pictures, right?
Interesting, yeah.
There's a lot of things going on. Like if you tell them to generate the 18th century king of England.
Right.
Yeah, they generate someone with a Asian face or African American face, which is not true, right? Also, when they generate the Elon Musk's picture, it looks like a African American. So for large companies like Google, they have so many baggages on their back. Political correctness and the fairness, the impact, and they don't want to make any kind of a mistake, or they have to have certain kind of political view, etc. So they have so much baggages, they end up making such an obvious mistake. So that's why Google was the first to do the transformer in AI, but OpenAI come out the ChatGPT first, right? So that just happened last few days. I think a lot of people kind of got very upset, especially Google shareholder. They're questioning the company's management. So that's a thing about big companies. They are a big ship, and for them to change direction or adjust direction is slow. But for young companies, young startups, they are agile, and they're not afraid to take a risk. So that's the advantage for startups. They don't have to really concern about the big companies. They have a lot of many resources, and not really no need to worry about those big players.
Right. No, that makes sense. And so I know you talked a bit about how like some companies like TurboTax and other companies in the fintech sector. How do you think AI affects like other industries as well? So there's like the life sciences industry. There are a wide range of different things that can be affected. What do you think are some interesting ways and places that AI can be effective in?
I think anything that want to improve efficiency will utilize AI, right? You talk about life science, right? So they can use AI for new drug discovery. Well, actually, a lot of places use AI already, right? If you see the taxi industry, right? The Uber, right? They use AI already, so they know what kind of car you like, what kind of driver you want to take, and same thing with the information for drivers, like what kind of area you want to drive around, right? So this is for the transportation, but everything else you think about, anything like for example DoorDash, right? Airbnb. So they are in terms of hospitality industry and the food and beverage industry. So they all utilize AI. So anything you can think of that need efficiency, we'll be able to use AI to improve. That open up a whole new opportunity for young people, right? Anything you can think of, it doesn't matter, it has to be a high-tech place, like DoorDash, like Airbnb. They are not really, right, serving a high-tech company, a high-tech community. You just serve people's basic need. Room and board, right? So anything you can think of. So I always tell people, I say, well, for young people, if you want to start a business, if you can provide a really, really good service with an innovative approach, then it's a huge opportunity. Like DoorDash, they literally become the biggest restaurants. Same thing with Airbnb, right? They become the biggest hotel, right? So they're just provide such a good service with an innovative approach. So you can think of maybe someday you can start a company that become the biggest barbershop. You might not own single one of them, but or you can be a biggest tailor shop. So it's all up to the new generation of people to think about it, how to optimize it, and to provide a service where one day you just make a platform for a very traditional industry, but you become a platform and everybody do the transaction on your platform, then you become the biggest one in that domain.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Sounds
Got excited?
Yeah. So along with those innovations in all those spaces, I know there's some concerns or talks about how AI can replace like part of the workforce or a lot of the tasks that a lot of people do right now. How can businesses prepare for the workforce for the transition towards sort of more human-centered work to AI helping humans and also AI replacing some human design work?
Yeah, this is inevitable. Just like with the industry revolution, right? Before, like 95% of people are farmers. Right now, 95% of the people are not farmers.
Yeah.
So the social economic structure changed a lot. Same thing, the AI would do the same with the white collar workers. So for the, lawyers, investors, accountants. So you'll see huge consolidation where you have to be really, really good to be in business, right? Just like actor and actress, right? Before movie, right? Every town has a few people who can really perform and make a living out of it.
Right.
When the movie industry come out, well, if you're not really good, you better not to perform because nobody watch it.
Yeah.
right. So same thing here. If you're not a really good lawyers later on, you'll be replaced by AI or generative AI. If you're not really good, very, very good accountant, then you lost your job. So many industries will be consolidated by the technology. However, what the AI provides is a more individual service, more tailored service. Many things will be automated, but people will ask more and more. So for those individualized service, very targeted service, will require different kind of people. May not be the same, right? It's like maybe different, but still the demand will not reduce. The demand for accounting, for legal service will not reduce. It might be even more. Right? It just there are just have a higher request, a higher kind of demand, and a different kind of demand, more efficient services. So those things will happen, and you really have to dig into each business and to figure out what's going to happen later on. Then you get yourself prepared for it, right? So that's why the education system need to be changed, right? You have to educate people with two things. I think the most important part. Number one is the mentality of providing service. No matter how talented you are, what kind of IVD you graduate, you have to have the mentality to say, I want to provide the best service and also be creative, right? Just like as a DoorDash, right? So they are from Stanford, but they're just deliver food. So that mentality say, I just want to make the food delivery more efficient. So that's the education need to tell people. That's the mentality they need to tell the students. Also creative, right? You cannot just say more efficient by driving a faster car. No. So be creative to make it efficient. So that's a thing, yeah. And the opportunity will be there, and the future will be very different. Yeah.
Yeah, that's very interesting that you mentioned the part about providing a service, because I know a lot of like founders now, or like a lot of potential founders, they really try and like be very technical starting out, whereas like a lot of really good founders are very human oriented or human centric. Is that your experience?
Yeah. So we like team with a diverse background. We want team to have a people, especially the CEO, has a very strong mentality of service. It doesn't matter what you do, get your hands dirty, do it. Of course, we also want the team to have a builder at least. Somebody who has, if someone have a good idea, one of them can build it, right? We don't want to see team say, no, we have a wonderful idea, but we need to hire people. No, you have to be a builder, the team yourself. That's how you start from 0 to 1. So you need both kind of people. Yeah, the people with a vision, with a mentality to do everything just for better service. Also, you also need people who actually can write a program. So the team has to be complementary. If everybody just know how to talk, has a good vision, nobody can actually implement the system, then that's useless, right? But if all of them just know how to write the program, don't know exactly what other people need, that's also a big problem in Silicon Valley, right? A lot of people, we also say it's like with a hammer looking for nail. So that's not the team we want.
Right. Makes sense. And so Amino has been really successful with its investments in the past 10 years. Where do you guys see yourself investing in the next 5 years? Like what other big themes or sort of areas are you guys interested in?
Yeah. So continue on, we will especially continue to focus on digitization. And like we invest quite a few companies before. Now they become a hot shot in generative AI. But when we invest in them like 3 or 4 years ago, they are just a company provide very good services. For example, we invest in one company called Reality Defender. They are doing service like if you upload the picture, they will tell you if the picture is generated or real. So at that time, we believe that's 3 or 4 years ago. We believe, this trend will go on. More and more people will modify their program or modify the pictures, so the need will be there. So when generative AI come out about 12 months ago, and then their business is booming because there are so many, not only pictures, audios, video, they are generated. There's so many. So their business is booming. So that's just one of the example. As long as we recognize the trend, we'll continue to invest. So in the next 5 years, as you ask, I think the biggest trend is still the digitization. Maybe like in Silicon Valley, there's a new hot buzzword every 18 months. So 18 months later, there will be a different hot buzzword. It doesn't mean AI will disappear. AI will not. Just like a mobile internet, right? Nobody talk about the mobile app because all the apps are already mobile. If you're building an app that's not mobile, that's crazy. So same thing here, maybe 18 months later, whatever system you build, you don't have to mention AI because AI is the fundamental things you have to provide. That's the basic things. So AI will still be here, but 18 months from now, there will be some other things that's new come out that might shake up the entire industry or technology landscape. So in the next 5 years, from our perspective, we will continue to follow the principle of digitization. That's the biggest trend. So any companies that can provide a very good service to a point where they constantly accumulate data are the good companies. We want to invest. So those kind of companies, they are like the company like a snowball. Once they grow, the data continue to grow, and they use the data to provide even better services. And with a better service, there'll be more users, more activities, and more AIs. It's like snowball. So that's the company we like, and that's the company we want to invest. So in the next few years, we're still doing the similar thing in terms of looking for the companies with a creativity and the service mentality.
Service mentality. Gotcha. And just a final question to wrap things up. You've invested in Chime before they had any product or any serious like minimal viable product. Do you have any overarching advice for founders? I know this is another buzzword in Silicon Valley, like first principles or like going down to the base and just like figuring things out. What advice do you have for founders who really want to make an impact in the AI space?
There's a lot of things going on, right? So for example, you mentioned about the Chime Bank. When we invest in Chime Bank, we didn't think about the financial fintech. Those words are not there yet, actually. We just feel it's a very basic thing. They replace the banking industry need to be transformed, right? They need to replace the paper with a computer. They need to replace the telephone with internet. So that's the basic fundamental principle we invest in Chime. But now they become the star of a fintech company with AI, blah, blah. But really, when we invest, they just replace everything with they just digitize the banking industry. Same thing here. So for the new young founders, we believe the opportunity is huge. The opportunity is huge. So anything you look at it, I think you need to work on something you are passionate about, right? So if you're passionate about certain things, and then you see certain things, you see these things has a lot of inefficiency, then that's the opportunity. You have to love the industry. Like the founder of DoorDash, right? One of them parents is like a restaurant owner, right? They're cooking food, serving customers. So he want to make it more efficient because his father, his parents, they work tirelessly the entire life, right? So if any founders, you really need to find your passion, and then from that perspective, you find inefficiency, and then you improve the efficiency by providing the better service. You might not service the customer directly, but you can service the people who serve the people, right? Basically, it's the DoorDash, same thing, right? You serve the restaurant owner, right? Make them, or even also, of course, the customers. So same thing with the Uber, you serve customer, also you serve the driver. So anything you can think of, the area where you're interested, you have passion, if you see inefficiency, then AI can do a lot of things. And that's the area you can make a big impact. In that case, you make that industry much more efficient, right? So the result will be the customers will have a better service, and the people on the platform can make a better service with less effort or more efficient. So that's the impact. Of course, in AI, just like the internet, there's other things you can do, like how to protect the consumer, how to protect the users, the privacy, right? If you remember at the beginning of the internet, you have this McAfee software to the antivirus software, right?
Yeah.
So with AI coming, there are a lot more problems we are facing, right? One thing is, I said, is a lot of fake video, fake audio, fake pictures. So how can you do something to help resolve this problem, right? Same thing with it's huge. A lot of fraud will come up because people use your picture, your video, your voice to contact banks. So how do you help protect those people's privacy, help to protect their financial interest? Also, of course, how can you help company to secure their infrastructure? And those are opportunities. And the AI will make AI is just a tool. It's a weapon. It can go both ways, right? So you can always think about AI do a lot of good things, but AI can also do a lot of bad things. So for entrepreneurs, if you want to make a positive impact, then there are a lot of things you can do. Just like a blockchain, right? You have Sam Bankman-Fried. So you can also have a lot of other people. So AI will same thing. Lots of people will come up, good or bad. And if you want to have a positive impact, this is huge opportunity, because there will be a lot of people try to take advantage of AI, only do things for themselves and hurting other people. There will be many people will come up do that. So for young entrepreneur with a very positive energy, and it's huge opportunity, because a lot of bad guys will come up. Bad things will happen.
For sure. Yeah. Anyways, thank you so much for this interview. That's all the questions I had.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you, David. It's my pleasure. And we'll talk to you soon later on.
Yeah. Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you, David.
Thank you.